The Twice Refused Man, a Vanguard Mosaic Ode, on positivity, resilience, and the architecture of mental health. Preamble. To tend the mind garden in the season of refusal. This is no small labor. Positivity, rightly understood, is not the painted smile of willful ignorance. It is the ancient art of the root holder, the one who stands where the wind arrives first and does not become the storm. Resilience is not the absence of sorrow. It is the wound weaver still at the loom, weaving what was broken into something the whole cloth never could have been. These twin forces, when joined and practiced with intention, are the twin pillars upon which mental health is built. They do not ask us to pretend the wound never came. They ask us to remain, to be here still, especially when the world said no. They said no. They said no, and no again. Those gatekeepers of the word world, handing back the dream walker's pages, like leaves too green to burn, rejected the manuscript of a man, before the man himself had walked the world's wide stage. But hear me now. The wound weaver knows that in the no lives a seed, root-hungry, sky-reaching, older than the shame merchants' mouths. Backward then, let us read. Backward then, let us read. What forward they refused. A man's story is not undone by closed doors. The door itself is made of shadow. And what is shadow but the proof of light? They tried a second cutting. The birth liars rose like smoke without fire, crying not yours, pointing brittle fingers at the sun, as if the sun required permission to rise. Years of it, the amplified murmur become a roar, the roar become a crown of thorns, pressed upon a man who had already won. The soul forge burns hottest. But the soul forge burns hottest when the world says cold. And what is mental health, if not the mind garden, tended even in the stone-gray winters of other men's denials? Positivity, not the thin-smiled kind, not the easy river talk, but the root-deep, sorrow-known, blues-baptized affirmation. I am here. I remain. For the law of the light-bearer, the spirit-keeper does not wait for the crowd to agree before it opens its own wings. It opens. This is the law of every light-bearer, whoever walked through fire and came out singing, as the baobab holds water in its hollow chest, through a season it cannot name. So holds the resilient mind its own nourishment until the rains return. The S-bone. They said no. No, broken open, becomes the marrow of the S-bone, becomes the strength. No praise song could have built. The dream walker learned what the old ones knew, long before the word world had a name for it. Resilience is not the absence of the wound. Resilience is the wound weaver, still at the loom. Coda. Let this be the lesson the mind garden teaches, that the health of the spirit is not measured in victories unchallenged, but in the number of times the soul forge returned to its work after the fires of doubt were set against it. Positivity is not the denial of darkness. It is the insistence, ancient, defiant, and supremely rational, that the darkness does not own the final word. And in that insistence, the twice-refused man rises, his story no longer merely his own, but a lantern held aloft in the long corridor of every mind that has ever been told, no, not you, not here. He walked through anyway. Reuben White, Kintsugi Soul Publications, Scrambled Wisdom Series.